Negative thoughts are a part of our human experience, plain and simple. While we can't eliminate all of them, we can dramatically reduce the volume and embrace a predominantly more positive mindset. The thing is that right now, most humans, like 80% of the thoughts, are negative. We're gonna change that. We're gonna change that one step at a time, me and you, one step at a time, and have that powerful ripple effect. And I'm gonna teach you how to do this through hypnosis, because one of the things with hypnosis is that we can't talk in the negative, right? But there are ways to support strong patterns to give you the resilience that when negative thoughts come, or when there's a deep collective program like the resistance to failure, we're gonna talk about that today, for instance. We're gonna change how we relate to these things so that we experience a better lens, a better perspective. Hypnosis is one of those modalities that is, for whatever reason, feared. That's the word I'm gonna use. I used to fear it too, I'm not even gonna lie, though it's so radically changed my life that I am such a fan of it. I've become certified in it, and I've seen now how much it helps people because it has the power to permanently change your thought patterns in a beautiful, powerful, and positive way. Now, before we get going, everything is timestamped below. Welcome to my channel. My name is Atena. Welcome back. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I feel so blessed. There's so many of you that have come in. On this channel, we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, and we manifest our dream realities. So if that is something you're interested in, you should consider subscribing. Okay, the first thing I want to bring your attention to is that the normal cycle of the way we think or operate is not as linear as we think. So sometimes when we're taught the process of how the mind works, we say, okay, well, there's a thought, the thought leads to a feeling, the feeling leads to an action, the action leads to a result. And this just continues to go in a cycle. The thing is that if it was that easy, I'd say, okay, I think this positive thought, now I'm gonna have a positive feeling, and now I'm gonna take a positive action, and now I'm gonna have a positive outcome, and yay, life is great. And yes, like, let's hope that could be, and sometimes that is the case. But why is it that often it's not? It's because the foundation of our beliefs get shaky. A lot of times our thoughts that are repeated on a subconscious level, which is not even conscious, they form a repetition. We scan and filter unconsciously, right, reality, to seek the evidence to continue to believe that. And then we want new things in life. We want a new state of being, but we're operating with that old model. And so how do we break this? So the first thing is to consciously say, I don't want to have so many negative thoughts. You're here, I'm assuming that conscious awakening has already happened. Now, the second thing we want to do is say, okay, well, what do I genuinely believe? And let's break down what a belief is. Because your mind has identified that beliefs are what you know, but the actual definition of a belief is the acceptance that something is true, something exists, especially without evidence yet. It is having trust. It is having faith. It is having confidence. Let's play with a belief that I find it will be relatively easy for us to just have the conversation around. Let's say your belief is that you are a fit and healthy person, okay? But right now, the physical dense reality is that you are not really eating healthy, you are not feeling healthy, you're feeling low, you're feeling like going to the gym is really hard, and all of these things, and you continuously have potentially negative self-talk. Then other people are telling you, well, you know, the older you get, the lower your metabolism gets, and you start buying into all of these collective programmings as well. So you can at any moment choose that belief, but then all of these thoughts come. And while you can sit there and say, okay, let me write down all of these thoughts, let me untangle them. And there's a power to that, and there's a time and place for that. One of the things I'm going to recommend that you right away do is say, well, how do I actually feel? Okay? Because you may not be able to be conscious of all of your thoughts, but if you take a moment and sit down and tune in with your body and say, how am I feeling? Most people, they're unconscious, but they're choosing the beliefs based on how they're feeling. I don't feel good today, therefore I no longer believe that I'm capable of being healthy. I don't feel good today, therefore I no longer believe that I can manifest love. I don't feel good today, therefore I don't feel like I can get up and run my business. I don't feel good today, so I stop believing in my capacity to show up. And this is where it gets really sticky, because a lot of us are unconsciously choosing our beliefs at first from the thoughts that we were given to as children, some of them positive, some of them negative. And then we feel these thoughts, we feel them in our body. And then we choose new thoughts, but we don't deal with how we're feeling. And so the mind and the body are already used to a certain thing. You have to find a way to bypass that. And the only sane way to do it is to be clear on what you choose to believe. So I want you to write your new belief down, write it in the comments below. I believe that I am fit and healthy. I believe I have the capacity to experience abundance in this life. I believe this. I believe whatever it is that you want to believe, okay? And for a moment, recognize that when you choose a new belief, when you choose a belief, especially one that you don't have the evidence for yet, perhaps you have to borrow it from other people even, you are going to not feel that great. And I want to highlight this because I saw a post the other day that is from a creator I really love and respect. Her name is the Gem Goddess. She has almost 1 million followers on YouTube. She is super good at teaching manifestation. And I honestly agree with everything. This is literally not to cause any shade on her. But I want you to also pick up on this part of the manifestation world that can get you trapped unconsciously. So she wrote something. One main key to manifesting is prioritizing feeling good. When you feel good, you are in a higher vibration and you become in alignment with your desires. Now, while this is true, what it can do unconsciously is that it makes you want to bypass anytime you don't feel good. And when you don't feel good, you start to feed the seeds of doubt. You start to say, I don't feel good, therefore I don't believe it. I don't feel good, therefore I can't trust it. I don't believe it, so I don't feel good, therefore I can't hold the faith. And we got to break that cycle. A lot of times, we're not even taught how to process our emotions. Our emotions are chemical reactions in the body, right? They don't typically last more than like 90 seconds. An emotion is supposed to last 90 seconds. But then how we feel about that emotion, like we get so uncomfortable, we don't even know how to process it. So instead of a feeling that should literally take 20 minutes for you to process, if you don't take the time to process it and you push it into the back burner, guess what that's doing? That is propelling you to continue having a lot of negative thoughts. A lot of times we also try to over-rationalize how we feel. So if we were to just say, hey, this shit's painful. This shit doesn't feel good. I don't feel like I got it right now. And I stop trying to justify why I don't feel good. I stop trying to justify, over-rationalize how I'm feeling. And I let myself just feel the feel. I let myself just mourn the loss. I let myself just temporarily experience the doubt without letting it shake my belief. You are automatically reducing the volume and the grip that negative thoughts have on you, because then they're coming in one ear and they're going out the other. So I got reminded twice in 1 week that literally our feelings are like the weather. You know, the weather can change sometimes multiple times in the day. Right now I'm in beautiful Antigua and Barbuda and the weather is pretty much sunny and nice, with occasional rain. But I think of my hometown of Montreal, and if anyone's from Montreal, you know, start the morning nice and sunny and it's like a little chilly. Then the afternoon, it's sunny and it's actually like hot. So the sweater that you took that morning, you no longer need it in the afternoon. Then comes evening and it's like the winds are so crazy, you almost need sunglasses to stop the dust from going in your face. And then at night, it's like there's a blizzard that comes. Like this is the month of March, I'm thinking of Montreal. Like the weather changed like a million times. Your feelings can change a million times in a day. Right? And the thing is that if you, and you're going to experience thoughts about these feelings, if you every single time start like shaking the tree, shaking the belief, because you're like, oh my gosh, a leaf is starting to feel a little dry, the wind is going to come, all of a sudden I no longer believe in the root of this tree, you are in a sticky place and you do not want to be in this place. So I want to first and foremost highlight that for you. We got to normalize allowing ourselves to feel all the feels. I wanted to quickly add here that you also want to make sure you don't get attached to your positive emotions as well, because this will literally be the equivalent of you saying that it has to be sunny for you all the time in order for you to enjoy life, in order for you to believe in your belief systems. Even if the feeling is positive, it is temporary. All of our feelings are temporary, just like the seasons, just like the weather. So when you embrace your full human experience, high vibrational emotions, lower vibrational emotions, and yes, you do put a standard that you do want to feel better most of the time, yet you release your attachment and you release your need for it to always have to be a certain way, and you fully take on your human experience. This is where true freedom comes. This is where your beliefs start to get anchored in so much better. And this is where, ironically, you also have a much better perspective on life, and you get to literally enjoy all of the temporariness of it. And if you want to have a process for this, inside there's a guide that I created for you that helps you learn the process of hypnotizing yourself. And in that guide, I gave you a couple of prompts of how to go through this. Okay, I got interrupted. Literally do not remember where I got left off. Here's hoping that I make sense right away. Okay, so a lot of times also, just to put it at the forefront of your mind, is that when you are choosing a new belief system, there's a part of your ego that is going to resist. Your ego is that identity part of you. A lot of times people say kill your ego, but what if you were to let go of your ego and continuously build a new ego as you go along with the different phases of your life? That is, for me, a lot more realistic. And it's a lot more necessary. Like, I love my ego, I love my identity, but when there's a time that I'm like, okay, we gotta let go, we gotta like evolve and grow. And when you learn to manage your feelings and to not make every emotion that pops off as something that is going to alter your belief system, your new foundation, your belief system. Hans, we're filming a video. She's so on edge. Sit, honey, sit. When you don't let that shake up all of your newfound belief system, this is where progress starts to be made. And so when you are hypnotizing yourself, and for those of you who don't know how to hypnotize yourself, I did a whole video. It's going to be linked down below. There's also a free PDF that goes through every single step of how to create a powerful hypnosis track. You'll know that also in the last video, I said, we can't work in the negatives. But sometimes one of the most powerful things that we can do through the state of hypnosis is fundamentally change our relationship to some of the things that really cause us to doubt on overload. And I got this download when I was at the gym the other day. My trainer was like, okay, like she was pushing me to grow my muscles, right? This is literally what I hired her for. And she said something really interesting. She's like, keep going until the point of failure. So basically you got to go until you can't, and you need to rest and let the muscle rebuild. And it got me to think, in life, we are so programmed to resist failure. Every time we fail, we make it mean something that we're not good enough, we're not capable enough. Like, you try something, you fail, you try something, you fail, you got to get back up. But it's like that overload of those thoughts. And so I want to give you an example of how you can use the power of hypnosis to change how you process certain negative things. So I actually wrote this down. If you were to create, let's say, your hypnotic track, or even like just tangibly take this on as a belief. There's like a really loud leaf blower outside. I don't know if you can hear it. Here's hoping that you can. But I wrote, I embrace failure as part of my growth, right? Because like think of it on any level. Like I started my business a couple of years ago and I swear to you, like I'm so terrified of failing at every step. And then I realized like, oh my gosh, I failed once, twice. And there's like literally a million different points of failure. And each time I've extracted a lesson, I've extracted wisdom. And I can allow it to defeat me or I can allow it to bring me more confidence. So if I have this belief that I embrace failure as a part of my growth, I embrace like my muscles having to tear and like not being able to like failing to do one more rep as a part of my growth, I embrace and I choose to also extract wisdom from my mistakes. Right? So many of us are terrified of making mistakes, and it's a no-brainer. A lot of us are raised by behavioralists. Behavioralist psychology is basically like programmed our parents into thinking that if we as children don't behave accordingly, it means that they're bad parents, which is crazy when you think about it, because a child's brain is not even fully developed. The child is going to do crazy shit. And like childs are literally gonna have tantrums. We gotta let the child have it, right? Let the child experience a tantrum. Let yourself as an adult in a safe space, not in front of everyone, experience your tantrums. Let these things out and learn to extract the wisdom after. So like when I give myself the space to fail, when I give myself the space to process my emotions, I can let go, I can release, I can stand up taller, stronger. These are going to be now my core foundational beliefs. I believe I am always worthy of love because I'm a child of God and God loves me unconditionally. I love me unconditionally. One of the things that you can definitely utilize the power of hypnosis is to remember that you are at your core the foundation of unconditional love. When I tell you the number of things that we resist to feel, that we feel like we're not even allowed to believe because we're afraid to fail in that belief, and that fear of failing in that belief somehow like inside the back end of our brain goes, that means I'm not worthy of love. I don't have the money for this. I'm afraid to ask for the money for this because if that person says no or if that person judges me, I'm not worthy of love. I don't know why that example came to me because I'm sure I've felt it at many points in my life, right? I'm afraid to put myself out there because what if I get rejected? If I get rejected, I'm not worthy of love. And we gotta undo that because as children, when you don't feel like you're worthy of love, it's actually unsafe. A child needs love. A child needs a caretaker. Sometimes you had that, sometimes you may have not had that. You are here, you're an adult now. Install the beliefs that support you through the power of hypnosis. And so sometimes you're gonna put positive like beliefs like, I believe that I have the capacity to X, Y, and Z. And sometimes you're gonna take something that may societally feel negative, like failure is demonized, but you're like, hey, wait a minute. Failure is a part of life. What if I chose to believe that failing has a positive impact? What if I remembered that every inventor, the creator of Dyson vacuums, and I'm sure it's Dyson hair products, all Dyson, right? Everybody knows Dyson. You don't know Dyson, go Google that shit. I think the guy failed like 700 times before he had the actual prototype that worked. And I want you to drop a comment below. What is the new beliefs that you are choosing to embrace? How do you plan to deal with the feelings that you have and allow this new belief to pull you forward? I highly recommend you plant it inside your subconscious through the power of hypnosis. And remember that a lot of times it's actually you remembering your magic, highlighting that magic through the power of hypnosis, strengthening those neural pathways. And then the other thoughts are going to simply dissipate. They're going to become less frequent. Someone who already, without a shadow of a doubt, believes like, I believe this bed is sturdy. Yes, actually there was an earthquake the other day. Literally, it was in the middle of a session, and I was like, I'm sorry, I think there's an earthquake. Yes, things can happen. I can have all those thoughts that an earthquake can come and the bed can shatter, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But really, I don't believe it. Like, it's so rare, it's so minute that I don't believe it. I'm firmly standing mostly in my thought that this is a safe and secure bed. I'm good. At one point, those thoughts are gonna come, and they're gonna come in one ear, out the other. Like, they're not going to be even an afterthought, right? Does that make sense? Comment below if that makes sense. Comment below if it doesn't make sense. Your girl is always trying to better her communications. I'm a human. I will fail sometimes at communicating things clearly. YouTube has allowed me to learn how to communicate better and better and better. I'm a much better communicator in private, and I would, like, in my private sessions, let's say with my clients. And one of the beliefs I have is that I get to be a powerful communicator in front of hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people. And a lot of thoughts are gonna come and tell me, you can't, oh, but this, oh, but that. Let them go. What do I choose to believe? How do I choose to put myself in the fields that I get to do it? Sometimes, by the way, it's also putting yourself in the right rooms. So if I'm constantly surrounding myself with negative Nancys, sorry if your name is Nancy, I don't know where this freaking thing came from, of course I'm gonna feel less likely. Like, I'm in powerful coaching containers. I have a really incredible therapist right now that I'm working with, and the friends that I have always remind me of the positives, always remind me of my strength, hold space when I need it, when I'm not feeling my best, so it doesn't have to be such a big freaking deal every step of the way. Stop over-rationalizing things that don't need to be over-rationalized. I feel like this, I just feel it today. Let me feel it and move on. Okay, I got all fired up there. Okay. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, like, share, subscribe, and until next week, I'm sending you so much love. Make sure you download the PDF on how to hypnotize yourself, and I will see you in the next video.